A couple of things, obviously, on the why. Well, let me ask you guys. How would you answer that? How would you answer the why?
Because I believe the local church is the hope of the world. I want to see changed lives.
Every community in this region, and I believe that would extend to all of the United States, has by far the largest percentage of the population is unchurched. And existing churches aren't doing the job. We need more churches, new churches, better churches. And they will encourage the existing churches.
Well, haven't we seen that even in research and study that new churches are more likely to bring people to Christ than established churches? There's just something about something new that people are saying, well, maybe this church will be different. Maybe I'll find the hope that I've been looking for.
There's definitely something to the whole idea of something new. And in a church, I think one of the things that I love about a new church is its ability, if it's done well, done right, its ability to level the playing field. Because when a church has existed for a while, you have people who have kind of become veteran churchgoers, and that's a great thing. It's not a bad thing. And yet sometimes we forget that there are people who have never engaged. They've never engaged in a church. And a new church, I think, has the ability to really level that playing field because everyone's new, and at least for a while. And I like that about the new church environment. I think the other thing, too, is we have to remember that this is God's command for us as churches. We're to reproduce disciples, but we're also to reproduce other churches. And churches that do three things. Churches that bring people to Christ, into a saving relationship with Christ, that literally build them into followers of Christ or disciples, and develop them into leaders, and then sends them out and mobilizes them into ministry and mission to change the world. We need more of those kind of churches. One of the other dynamics that's going on in our society in America is, and you're going to see this, I think, in the next 5 to 7 years, more churches are going to be closing their doors than ever before. It's kind of a generational thing, and we're not keeping up. Read the latest stats on it and saying that we might be even right now, but I'm telling you, in the next 5 to 7 years, a lot of the churches that are kind of teetering and have been declining are going to close those doors. Add that with the whole idea that I am convinced that every new generation needs new churches, because my children, your children, might not come to the type of church that I like and the style that I like, and new styles are going to be developing. I think it's the new wine and the new wineskins approach and dynamic that Jesus talked about. So, and let's face it, you look at the book of Acts, this was God's design, and He wanted to use the church to send people out. Like Barnabas and Saul were sent out of the church of Antioch, and what did? They preached the gospel, and they started churches with people that responded.
The book of Acts is a church planting story.
Yeah.
Pure and simple.
How would you guys see your churches participating in just church planting overall, but in this next church planting endeavor? And we've said this is going to take all of us working together and all of our churches working together. How do you see your church participating in this next endeavor? Jason, how do you see the church in Mound Ridge that you're leading? How do you see you guys participating in this next endeavor?
Sure. I think one of the areas God has really blessed our people in Mound Ridge with is leadership development. We love bringing in young leaders, taking our own people and looking at where they are, and then really just analyzing and studying where we think God could take them and how God has gifted them. And I really think with this next plant and the planter and his wife or family, whatever the situation is, I think we can really come alongside them for the encouragement, the equipping, the coaching, and on top of that, the financial support. We just came out of a plant 4 years ago. We're not really a plant anymore, but we still have a lot of those things from when we were a plant. So to be able to come alongside in generosity and in prayer and in equipping and in building relationships and networking, I think there are so many ways that just our campus alone can get involved that we're excited about. We were really excited about.
Great. Landon, how about New Anthem?
Yeah, we'll do whatever we need to do. I mean, we were blessed to be a part of this church where we're shooting this, and Newton Grace Community, and they helped us tremendously through baby shower, and I would see us doing something very similar, and just trying to be generous. I think we're developing a culture of generosity at New Anthem, and we'll do whatever we have to do to see that next church plant succeed, whatever capacity it is. I think I can speak for our church body to say we'll do whatever we have to do to help, whether it's people, resources, whatever we need to do.
And Adam, how about Grace Community Fellowship in Hillsborough?
Yeah, I would say a lot of the same things that you guys have said about coming alongside, supporting. I would say for Hillsborough, in addition to some of the things you guys talked about, I think prayer support is huge.
Yes.
And that we as a body have given. We have really emphasized the importance of prayer, and just our prayer team. And Sunday morning we have prayer going on during the service. We have prayer going on during the week, and we want to really lift up this next plant in prayer and have specific prayer requests that we can be sharing with one another, even day to day, not just every month an update. Oh, here's an update, and here's how the church plant's going. But if there's specific things that come along during the week, we can be lifting it up in prayer and having that support for the new plant.
I think one other thing too that, and I don't want to speak for y'all, but I think we've all been really intentional about creating cultures where we want to celebrate that sending element that you've talked about. That it's okay if we have people watching this video and they're thinking, hey, God might be moving me to be a part of this next plant, wherever that community is or whoever the planter is. You got to understand that's a huge answer to prayer for us. That's the fruit of what God has been doing as we bring people in, as we build them up, and then we send them out. So, if you watch these videos and you feel God moving in that way, don't ever think you're going to hurt our feelings or offend us. That's the byproduct of the ministry model that we've tried to create, and we believe God has called us to as church leaders. So,
The danger for a 30-year-old church like us is that we become stagnant and settled. And so my vision for the fellowship here in Newton is that we not be bystanders to this. We have people that serve on the TAP team, people whom God taps on the shoulder to be part of the launch team if it's within geographical proximity to where they can do that. And the financial commitment to make sure that there's a solid foundation under this new work, we want to be part of that.
Interesting to note that there were some people here at Grace that served on every one of the church plants. When we started each of the churches, that they just dove in and helped serve at each one of the plants. And so, there may be some of you listening right now, and I think that's kind of where we kind of come full circle, is that we don't want to bring, build, and keep people. We want to bring, build, and send people that God may be stirring your heart. Just as God is at work in people who do not know Him, drawing them to Himself, very possibly we are believing that God is stirring many of your hearts right now and stirring you to the point where He's saying, hey, I want you to be a part of this. I want you to be a part of a team that's going to bring people to me, that's going to build them up, and then send them out as well.